Have you ever looked up at the night sky? I mean, really looked up. Past the city lights, past the clouds, and into that vast, dark expanse twinkling with countless stars. It is an awesome sight, isn't it? For thousands of years, humans have stared at those same stars. We have navigated by them, told stories about them, and dreamt of one day reaching them. That dream is no longer just a fantasy from a science fiction novel. It is quickly becoming a very real possibility. A technological challenge we are on the verge of conquering. The stars are calling to us louder than ever before. So, why is this conversation so important right now, today, on the 24th of May, 2024? Well, for one thing, our own planet is facing some pretty serious challenges. We have got climate change, dwindling resources, and a population that is still growing. Some very clever people argue that we are putting all our eggs in one basket here on Earth. A single catastrophic event, like a massive asteroid impact or a supervolcano eruption, could wipe out humanity for good. Spreading out to other planets could be our ultimate insurance policy. On the other hand, the cost of going to space is astronomical, literally. We are talking about trillions of dollars. Think about all the good that money could do right here on Earth. It could be used to fight poverty, cure diseases, or develop clean energy solutions. Critics ask a very valid question. Should we be spending fortunes to build a new home on Mars when our own home is in such desperate need of repair? Is it responsible to look to the stars for an escape route while ignoring the problems we have created right here under our feet? At the heart of this entire debate are two powerful and often competing ideas, right and responsibility. Throughout history, humans have always been explorers. It seems to be hardwired into our DNA. From the first people who walked out of Africa to the sailors who crossed vast oceans, we have always been driven by deep curiosity. Space is simply the next grandest stage for this ancient human drama to play out. Our planet, as beautiful and resilient as it is not entirely safe. We live in a cosmic shooting gallery. The dinosaurs did not have a space program, and look what happened to them. They were wiped out by a rock from space. You would not store the only copy of all your precious family photos on a single computer hard drive, would you? Establishing a self-sustaining colony is simply making a backup copy of humanity. It is the most important backup we could ever create. Before we can even begin to debate the finer points of Martian law, we face a colossal wall of technical and scientific challenges. First and foremost is the issue of radiation. Once you leave Earth's protective bubble, you are exposed. This radiation damages DNA, significantly increases cancer risk, and can affect the central nervous system. We currently have no lightweight, effective shielding to protect a spacecraft or surface habitat for the long term. Even if we could solve all the physical problems, we would still face perhaps an even greater hurdle: the human mind. We are social animals, evolved to live in large groups on a wide-open planet. A Martian colony would be the complete opposite. It would mean living in a small, confined, artificial habitat for the rest of your life, with the same few people day in and day out. You are millions of kilometers from home. The Earth is just a tiny, bright star in your sky. When we look at the history of exploration on Earth, we cannot ignore the deep and lasting scars left by colonialism. European explorers carried diseases like smallpox to which native peoples had no immunity. In some regions, upwards of 90% of the indigenous population was wiped out, a biological catastrophe that paved the way for conquest. The doctrine of terra nullius was used to justify seizure of territories that had been inhabited for thousands of years. The international community has tried to establish a new framework, most famously in the Outer Space Treaty of 1967. This treaty declares space to be the province of all mankind, promoting international cooperation and peace. But the rise of private space companies introduces a new and disruptive element with explicitly commercial and colonial goals. This raises difficult questions about how the Outer Space Treaty applies to private citizens and corporations. Let's imagine we've overcome the technical hurdles and established a permanent, self-sustaining presence on Mars. What happens next? The colonists would start to change physically. Over generations, they might become taller, with different cardiovascular systems. Their culture would be forged in a harsh environment. Their art, music, and stories would all be uniquely Martian. The establishment of colonies would revolutionize our economy, providing access to unimaginable mineral wealth. So here we are at the end of our journey through this monumental debate. The question is not simple, it is a great cosmic balancing act. On one side, we have immense promise of a destiny among the stars. On the other, caution and the heavy burden of consequence. Ultimately, this is not a choice for billionaires or governments alone. It is a choice for all of humanity. The conversation must be as broad and inclusive as possible, involving voices from every culture and nation. So we come back to the question we started with. Is space colonization our right, our responsibility, both, or neither? There is no single universally accepted answer, and perhaps there never will be. The debate itself is what is most important. The journey to the stars does not begin with the roar of a rocket engine. It begins with a quiet moment of reflection. It begins with a question. By engaging in this debate, you are already taking part in this grand human adventure. The next time you look up at the moon or see Mars, remember these are potential destinations, frontiers of our children's time. So what do you think? Is space our next home? The debate is now in your hands. Good on you for thinking about it.